Thank you, Greg. In a much anticipated announcement, the Supreme Court this morning handed down its presidential immunity decision. In a 6-3 ruling, the justices determined that Donald Trump has absolute immunity from prosecution for official acts he took while in office, but does not for unofficial acts. This very well could impact special prosecutors Jack Smith's case against Donald Trump in respect to the former president's conduct on January 6th. The Supreme Court decision does, however, send the case back to lower courts, who will decide whether Donald Trump was acting officially or privately. The aftermath of Joe Biden's disastrous presidential debate performance has come with mounting calls for him to step down as the Democratic nominee.
There's a full-on panic about this performance. Not like, oh, this is recoverable. It is more of a, okay, he's got to step aside.
Even the New York Times and Atlanta Journal-Constitution's editorial boards called on Biden to step aside, with the Times stating on Friday, quote, the greatest public service Mr. Biden can now perform is to announce that he will not continue to run for re-election, end quote. The board went on to call Biden's candidacy a reckless gamble. On Sunday, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution editorial board published a front-page op-ed declaring Biden should leave the race for the good of the nation. Recently, the Daily Caller reported that Axios claimed White House aides described the president's behavior using the term, quote, sundowning. This term is associated with a state of confusion that affects elders, particularly those with Alzheimer's disease or types of dementia, according to the Mayo Clinic. Still, the New York Post reported in a post-debate Biden family huddle at Camp David, Hunter Biden led the charge in urging his 81-year-old father to stay in the presidential race. As pressure mounts for Joe Biden to exit the 2024 presidential race, a JL Partners poll found 68% of independents say he should drop out after the disastrous debate Thursday night. Among independents who voted for Biden in 2020, 41% say he should drop out, while 44% say they plan to vote for former President Trump, up about 4 points after the debate. Despite numerous public calls for Biden to drop out, Jason Miller, a Trump advisor, insisted to Breitbart News on Saturday Joe will be the nominee.
And regardless of what anybody wants, the fact of the matter is Joe Biden's going to be the Democrat nominee. You're not going to force him out. Some 3,700 of the 3,800 regular Democrat delegates to the convention are bound to Biden on the first ballot. So you're not going to force him out. And as far as Biden personally, he's not going to choose to go and step aside. That would mean his entire career is a disgrace.
Among independents, the poll found support for the president has dropped from 28% to 24%. A prominent Democrat shared an eye-opening social media post on Friday about current state of the Biden campaign after Thursday night's debate. Doug Cass posted, Jill Biden is insistent Joe run for re-election, and Kamala Harris is reportedly furious that she is not being considered as his replacement. Michigan and California governors Gretchen Whitmer and Gavin Newsom reportedly are. However, the Daily Mail reported it may already be too late to remove Joe Biden from the ballot. The Heritage Foundation's Oversight Project has identified 3 swing states, Georgia, Nevada, and Wisconsin, where they believe removing Biden from the Democratic ticket would prevent anyone else from replacing him. Wisconsin does not allow withdrawal from the ballot for any reason besides death. In Nevada, no changes can be made to the ballot after June 28th unless the nominee dies or is adjudicated insane or mentally incompetent. Finally, in Georgia, if Biden were to withdraw less than 60 days prior to the election, his name stays on the ballot, but the votes wouldn't count. Those are 3 states no presidential candidate can risk losing. A Texas congressman is renewing calls for the 25th Amendment to be invoked in response to Joe Biden's debate performance. According to Breitbart on Friday, Republican Chip Roy filed a resolution urging Vice President Kamala Harris to use the amendment to declare Joe Biden incapable of performing his duties as president. Here's what Roy had to say about it with Glenn Beck on Friday.
I believe that Democrats have now known this for a long time. They've been guilty of trying to hide it from the American people. They've been using him as a puppet, as a Manchurian candidate to drive their radical agenda, that they've done that and on purpose, and that now they saw that the gig was up, that Trump could win. They were hoping they could keep the Manchurian candidate in place. They panicked, and they said, you know what? But it was a controlled panic. Let's do this. Let's have an early debate. We'll see how he performs. He didn't perform. Now they have what they need to try to push him aside and, frankly, end run Kamala.
And Ron, Kamala, meaning putting a more attractive candidate on the top of the ticket, not the vice president. But to date, Joe Biden has made it clear he has no intention of bowing out of the race. Mike?
Your CBS Face the Nation host Margaret Brennan and Ohio Senator J.D. Vance clashed on Sunday over Donald Trump's debate performance.
We know that the media seems totally uninterested in fact-checking Joe Biden from any of the number of false claims that he made.
You know, I've lost track, sir. I've been told the media's on every single side of this and everything's our fault. But let's get back to the candidate you're here to talk about. Chris Miller said 10,000 troops. He was never ordered by the president to send those to the Capitol that day.
The Republican argued that the media was deflecting from important issues, citing former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi had admitted that she bears some responsibility regarding the Capitol security failures. But Brennan interjected, trying to keep the focus on what she referred to as Donald Trump's lies. However, Vance pushed back, asserting that Joe Biden had also made false statements during the debate.
Joe Biden made multiple statements of falsehood during the debate, and a lot of folks in the media, yes, seem totally uninterested in fact-checking him. And the reason, Margaret, is because Donald Trump just performed so much better.
Exchange highlighted ongoing partisan divisions in media coverage. And after Thursday's debate, former Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley is warning the Trump campaign of the possibility of a younger Democrat opponent entering the race. This is what Haley had to say 4 months ago.
I wish Joe Biden well. I really do. But the Democrats, in the best interest of their party and our country, they need to find a new nominee.
During an interview with the Wall Street Journal after last week's debate, Haley is quoted as saying this about the Democrat Party, quote, "They're going to be smart about it. They're going to bring somebody younger. They're going to bring somebody vibrant. They're going to bring somebody tested." Haley went on to say that the Democrat Party will not survive if they allow Joe Biden to continue. Greg.